Everyone, I hope you're having an amazing day. So today I'm going to talk about switch statement with enums. If you haven't watched my previous episode, I would highly encourage you to do so because I'm not going to talk about switch statement from the beginning. Because in my last episode, I talked about what all the data type switch statement supports and when do we not use if statement, right? So it's a continuation of the previous episode. So please check that out. Okay, so the first thing first, right? I've logged into my org. I would highly encourage you to do practice, right, while watching this video. And please pause whenever you feel like you have to pause, right? Because at the end of the day, programming is all about hands-on, right? And understanding what exactly you're trying to do. Okay, that being said, let's go to developer console, right? The way to go to developer console is by going to this gearcog icon, developer console, excuse me, and I go to close this, don't worry about that. Go to debug, open execute anonymous window, okay? So this is something what we've done last time. So I'm going to expand this, I'm going to change this a bit to cater for Enum, right? Now, if you remember my Enum data type, right? So this something enumerator data type looks like this, right? Okay, so it starts with Enum, okay? Let's clear this one, right? And let's say we're gonna do something with the days of the week, okay? So let's say we are interested in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, okay? So we're gonna do days, right? So let's declare, we can say Monday, you can put whatever you want, it's your choice. You can put Monday full word, or if you wanted to use the short form, you can use short form. It's because it's a flexibility that Apex gives to you, right? You can put whatever value you want. Okay, so as long as it makes sense to another developer who's going to read your code, okay, in the future. So you have to keep into consideration the naming convention, which is very important. That's one of the things I wanted to talk about over the course of time, right? And I wanted to touch briefly upon today as well, that whenever you declare a variable, right, it should be a meaningful variable, right? You should not declare a variable like, for instance, string X or Y, because what does X means, right? What does Y means? Because if you have so many X, Y, Z, A, B, C, then it gets extremely confusing, right? So you should try to write closer to English, right? Or whatever language you are from, you're used to, okay? So it should make sense to the developer trying to read. For instance, if I say string name, right? If someone looks at the code, they say, oh yeah, you know, this code is about switching through the names, right? Instead of saying X. What is X is about, right? It doesn't mean anything, right? So for instance, I can put enum days, right? Now, when you look at it, you can understand it's going to deal with days in a week, right? Instead of saying enum, just give me an example, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, right? You can do pretty much above data declaration as well. Nothing wrong with that. But this is not a very good way to write a piece of a code, because what does A means? What is 1, right? You can say, oh, 1 means Monday. Yeah, but if you are the only person who's ever going to touch the code, yeah, it makes sense. But even let's say you are going to come back to this code, let's say after 5 years, you won't know what the heck this 100%, right? So that's why it's very important to give a very meaningful name, right? Okay, so that's what I said I wanted to briefly touch about today. Okay, so we're going to talk about days. So as usual, you know that's how to declare a data type, enum. So we can say days, D, A, Y, okay? Don't put D, okay? Because what does D mean, right? Now you can assign the value. You can do assignment in 2 ways. You can assign a value on the same line where you're declaring it, or you can do it in a separate line. For instance, you can do something like this, okay? Days.Monday. Or if you don't want to do that, if you think it's a little bit trickier for you because you're new to programming, you find it a bit difficult to understand, you can do something like this as well, okay? Days to Monday. So this one and the other one, what I showed you just now, means the same, okay? So let's keep it simple for now, okay? All right, so let's delete this name, okay? So the syntax for switch statement It's pretty much similar for any data type you use. You can use string, you can use a long, right? You can use S objects, you can use enum. It's pretty much similar, right? All you have to do in this case, right, to replace this day's name with day, okay? And instead of the string, because now you see, I'm gonna replace this. I'm gonna delete this code, okay? I don't want it to do so. Yeah. Okay. So this is when string, this won't work because the day is not of string data type, right? It is of enum data type. Okay. So we have to check with the right value. So what are the values? So these are the values, right? So I can say Monday, okay, and it can say Wednesday, okay, and it can say Thursday, okay. You can do something like that. Let's put some statement, right? System debug, coding in Java, let's say. And I'm just going to copy that. You can say coding in React. Let's say you'll be working on React project, you'll be working on Java project on Monday, and Thursday you're going to do, let's say you're going to do coding in SQL Server, SQL, right? Okay. So you get the point, right? What I'm trying to say. It's like Monday you'll be working on in a Java project, right? And Wednesday you'll be doing some React JS project, and Thursday you'll be doing some SQL programming, okay? Now, this will work, right? So look at the code for a second, right? Tell me what it will print, okay? Look at the code. I've taught you enough about how the switch statement works. Look at the code and tell me whether it will print. Look at the code from line number 4, okay? So let's say line number 1, okay? Look at the code from the line number 1 and say what it will print. So first thing what we did, okay, I have declared an enumeration, right, with days, right, different values of the days. And I declared a variable of enum type days, okay? And then assign the value of day to Monday, okay? So this is how you assign the value of to enum, right? It's a bit different because you have to choose this and dot. Right, if you have any enum, right, instead of let's say enum month, right, Jan, Feb, so you will do month dot, right? That's how it works, okay? Now, the value of day is Monday here, so look at the code and tell me what it will print. You can pause the video and you can practice it. All right, I hope everyone got the answer now. So let's look at it, okay? Now, right, coding in Java, that's fantastic because you assigned the day as Monday, okay? Now, let me change it to, say, Thursday. Right? Oh, it's gonna take time. At times it annoys me because, right, okay. All right, coding in SQL, that's fantastic, okay? Because it's Thursday. Now, for whatever reason, let's say you wanted to put Friday here, right? And let's see what happens. Will the code compile at first place, right? That's the first question you should answer. Looking at it, can you tell me whether this code will run or not, right? Because you put the Friday, right? You say, oh, okay, I wanted to include Friday, right? Let's see what happens. Right? It does not exist because you haven't defined Friday here, right? Okay, you define the Friday here. Now, will it print anything? Because you defined Friday. Now, code will work, but will it print anything? Think about it. Look at the code. Will it print anything? Because I define a value which is correct, which is a valid value, Friday, because Friday exists on the days, right? Here. Now, I've assigned the value of days to Friday. Day to Friday. Now, will the switch statement perform any operation when the value is Friday? Pause the video and think about it. I hope everyone got the answer now. Okay. As I said, code will run. Okay, nothing. That's right, because there is no condition to execute Friday. Switch will come here Monday, okay, and Wednesday, Thursday, skipped. All right. Now let's say you wanted to Friday. You have decided to do coding in Java, right? Let's say Friday is the day you wanted to work on Java again. Okay, so you have two options. You can do something like this. Okay. Okay. You can do something like this, perfectly all right, but this is not a very good practice, right? Because you're duplicating the code here, right? Coding in Java, right? Think about it. Monday and Friday, they perform the same task, right? Monday and Friday, they're doing the same task, right? So you might wonder, right? Think about it for a second. We have a code duplication problem here, right? Monday and Friday, the similar task. Why are we repeating the code twice, right? Isn't it a logical step to put it in a one statement rather than duplicating it as a two statement, right? What I mean by that, this will work, right? Let's run this, okay? And this is what I hate because it takes time. I don't know what happened to the org for some reason. It's taking enormous amount of time, right? It's not usual, but yeah. Okay, coding in Java, right? It works fine, okay? So instead of this, right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to delete this code, okay? And I put a comma and put this, right? So this is something you can do in a switch statement if you think the day value of day could be Monday, Friday. So what happens here is that Monday and Friday, you're going to do the same task, right? Coding in Java, right? So if you think that a two value is going to perform the same task, then you put it like a comma separated, right? I repeat again, if you think a two value, right? Similar, like let's say Monday and Thursday, you're going to work on the same project, right? Then you can use it in a switch statement with comma separator values like I've done here. Let's see what happens, okay? Right, coding in Java, it works. Because the way it works, right? So when the code executes here, right? So it runs the first line of code, right? Fantastic, no problem there. And it runs the second line of code, which is pretty amazing. It runs the third line of a code where you're assigning the value of a day to Friday, right? Pretty straightforward, right? Nothing fancy here. Okay, now when it hits the switch statement, right? So what happens is it comes to day and say, okay, it's Monday, and then say it's Friday, right? So the value of the day here is Monday or Friday, right? So here you're getting Friday, so it runs the code. That's all it is. Okay, now let's say Tuesday you decide to work on SQL, right? Tuesday you wanted to work on SQL. Now look at the switch statement, right? And tell me, how do you write a code? I wanted to, so Tuesday, you got a project to work on SQL as well. And look at the code where you put the Tuesday block. Well, you're going to put a separate when Tuesday, or are you going to squeeze it to somewhere else? So the answer is, we're going to put it with Thursday. Look at the Thursday code, right? So you're going to do, you can tidy up. You can put Tuesday first, okay? Or you can put after Thursday. It doesn't matter, right? Which order you put. Order doesn't matter. You can put first or you can put after. It doesn't make any difference either way, right? You can put Tuesday, Thursday, or Thursday, Tuesday. It means the same, okay? So let's run it. And right, okay. Coding in Java, that's right, because you haven't changed the day from Friday to Tuesday, right? My bad. Okay. And right, coding in SQL, right? So this is why switch statements are very powerful. The multiple values you can bring it together, and plus the code looks a bit neater, right, compared to if statement. If statement is great. I mean, if you wanted to evaluate a Boolean condition, then go for if statement, right? If else if, you can go for complex nested loops, right? Sorry, nested if statements. So that's pretty interesting, and the switch statement, it makes your code more readable. A lot of things a switch statement can do, right? So yeah, so that's pretty much I wanted to cover today. So next time we're going to talk about loops, right? We have different loops, while loop, for loops, right? So we're going to talk about one at a time, because loops plays a very important role, right, in programming. If statements are very important, switch statements are important, but that alone won't be able to get you so far, right? You need to know other stuff as well. Okay, so that's all I wanted to talk about today. So I hope you have a great day. Take care.